Hey, Beerfield Fantasy family. It is Saturday, week one. I am at Nick Sparts, and we have to go through the injury report and let you know who's going to play, who's not, who might be in on a limited snap count, and what to make of all this information. We have a big one to kick us off this week. We got Odell Beckham Jr., ankle. He did travel with the team. It's going to be a game time decision. If he goes, he's going to be on a limited snap count. I've currently got him as my wide receiver 12, reflecting that, and I lean towards him playing, but more of a limited role. So don't expect the world out of Odell this week. He's talented enough against a bad secondary out of Dallas that he should be able to still produce a very, very good game. But don't expect your top 5 standard Odell finish this week. Brandon Marshall gets a bump up. Sterling Shepard is very startable. Even Evan Ingram is a high-end tight end streamer with the news that Odell is injured and still hasn't fully recovered from his ankle injury. It probably won't be until week 3-ish that we can expect 100% Odell, and that's if he doesn't have any sort of setback in the first couple weeks here. So keep a very close eye on that. Have another option ready. He doesn't play till the Sunday night game. Some players you're going to want to look at. Sterling Shepard would be a great option. Cole Beasley on the Dallas side of the football. Going down into the Monday night games, you're looking at players like Adam Thielen for the Vikings. For the Saints, Ted Ginn would be a pretty solid option. And then to the last game, Tyrell Williams or Travis Benjamin. Those would be all receivers you could look at to try to sub in for Odell. There may be a couple running back options you can try to squeeze in there. Maybe an Alvin Kamara, Shane Vereen, somebody like that in a flex position. So make sure Odell is in your flex right now to give you the most flexibility in case he doesn't go. If he does, though, still lower your expectations. On less bad news, Cam Newton's shoulder. He is questionable, but he was a full participant in practice all week. He should go. I don't expect any sort of setback here. They probably try to limit his throwing this week. They're probably going to try to run the ball a lot with Stewart and McCaffrey, which is reflected in my rankings. I have them both as running back 2s this week. And they'll just try to protect Cam as much as they can as he's easing that shoulder back into work. So overall, should be a pretty run-heavy game script for the Panthers unless they fall behind early, and they'll try to protect Cam's shoulder. But I do like him against a pretty bad defense, and he could still have a very good week. I've got him as a number 9 quarterback overall. Joe Flacco, back injury. He's practicing in full. He will play. I don't expect any setbacks. I haven't heard any concerns from the Ravens organization on him. He should be fine at this point. John Ross, knee injury, questionable, game time decision, likely is not going to go. I would be surprised if he goes this week or next week. It was a pretty bad knee injury, and it was in the last game of preseason, so he's only had a couple weeks to recover so far. He probably needs closer to 4, so I expect he probably gets his first game action in week 3. Even if he does play, I want nothing to do with him. Keep him off your redraft boards for now. He's just a stash in Dynasty or Keeper leagues. Kyle Long, ankle, offensive guard for the Bears. Likely not going to play. He's very questionable. They're going to try to see if he can go. It's a home game, so he didn't have to travel with the team. But I don't think he goes. This does hurt Howard if he doesn't. I still think Howard's a running back 1, but you don't want to have one of your best offensive linemen missing, so it does hurt his upside a little bit. If Kyle Long does not go, just dampen your expectations. He probably goes from a mid RB1 to a low RB1, but you're still starting him. Sebastian Janikowski, which I talked about on the news episode, is on IR with a disc injury. So do not try to start Sebastian Janikowski this week. You will get a 0. Try to find another kicking option there. They did pick somebody up who I discussed in the news episode. I forget it's very Italian if I remember right on the name. But he's the kicker you're going to want to look at there in Oakland. I would probably try to find somebody else, though, because I don't like starting kickers with no tape on them and no experience with their play in a regular season game. On the defensive side of the football, Myles Garrett, ankle, will not play. This does give a slight bump up to all Steelers players, namely Le'Veon Bell being the biggest recipient here. But it does also still help Big Ben. Martavis Bryant gets a slight bump, which is too bad because I got a shot bet with Dan on him. In addition, I do think that might help Juju Smith-Schuster a little bit. So hurts the Browns' defense, makes the Steelers look even a little bit better offensively, so this game script may get out of control in a hurry if they can't stop the Steelers' offense. Jamison Crowder, hip injury, questionable to play, game time decision. I think he will go. This is a little concerning, though, because it popped up in practice. We don't know exactly what the injury was. We didn't see the hit. We have no indicator of what type of mechanism it is, whether it's a hip flexor, whether it's a hip strain, just where the injury occurred. So I don't have anybody I can reach out to and try to get a diagnosis as to what that might be. I do think he is going to go, though. It's a division game against the Eagles, so they probably will try to get him out there. LaShawn McCoy, illness, came out, missed most of Thursday's practice, was very limited with a stomach bug. Fully participated Friday. I've had no reports today of any sort of issues with him. He should be a full go tomorrow, and expect great things from him against a bad Jets team. Kenny Golladay, ankle. He's expected to go with a bum ankle, but he will be on a limited snap count. I would not start Kenny Golladay this week. He's not even in my rankings. Just keep an eye on him. He's a watch list player in redraft and an end-of-bench stash or deep stash in a keeper or dynasty league. Thomas Rawls, ankle. He's a game-time decision. Unfortunately, I think he plays. I would prefer he doesn't, because then Lacy and Procise might have some value against a Seahawks team, or against a Packers team that does have a weaker defense. The Seahawks are kind of in a situation of a lot of other teams: Eagles, Patriots, Saints, Giants, where there's just too many bodies and not enough, and nobody's clear-cut taking that job over. So you don't kind of just want to avoid starting any of them. Bengals would be the other one. So as of right now, I'm avoiding all Seahawks running backs. If Walls does not go, then Procise and Lacy become interesting. I would probably lean towards Lacy in my rankings. Continuing with the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett, knee. Is expected to play. He has been questionable all week and limited in practice, but he will probably have a limited snap count. Paul Richardson's going to be the one that gets the full go. Should be the better receiver this week, and if I was starting one of the two as a deep dart throw, Paul Richardson's the one I'm going to go after. Mike Williams, back, is out. It's not a big surprise. He's probably not going to play until October, but he is out. He is missing, so don't expect anything from him. And the last player I've got on in or out here is Dontrell Inman, groin. He is likely not to play. So the third receiver you're going to want, as I mentioned when talking about Odell Beckham Jr., is Travis Benjamin. It's not Dontrell Inman. It's not Mike Williams. Neither one are likely to play, and even if Dontrell Inman plays, he's going to be very, very limited in his role. He was limited in practices all week. They're still trying to get him back from this groin injury, and he is at best going to be their wide receiver 4 and probably their wide receiver 5 once Mike Williams comes back. Dontrell Inman should not be rostered outside of just the craziest of deep leagues. So that's all we've got for in and out. This is probably going to be the shortest episode I do all season. I expect next week will be probably double this size for this document. But thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, Twitter is BeerFueledFF. You can follow us here on YouTube, BeerFueled Fantasy Football. Keep an eye out tomorrow morning on Twitter. We will be doing a live Periscope, taking your questions for start-sit, going over any injury news, and going over the players who are in and out of the lineup when that gets announced for the noon games. And then we'll also be on Twitter all day answering any questions you got for the afternoon or Sunday night games. So that's going to be for tomorrow morning. I expect we go live on Periscope probably about 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 Central, and that would be about 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific. Other than that, individually, I'm at Nick Sparts on Twitter. Dan Thury will be back on Tuesday, and Christopher Hopper will be back Monday with the next New Shots episodes. Thury is at Thury BFF, and Hopper is at Hop with 2 P's BFF on Twitter. If you want to follow them individually, I am at Nick Sparts, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for Week 1 on Periscope. I can't wait to see you. Hope you're as stoked as I am. Later.